Hello. All right, let's get right into it. In the thousand pages Cinder Google Docie, we learn that Nanoless might not be as innocent as she paints herself. We learn that Nanoless omitted some information regarding her Google Doc canceling Cinder. I thought this part of the document was the strongest. It had the most receipts. I thought Nanoless would be the one that would have the most burden to prove. Everything else in the doc was kind of weird, but whatever the case might be, we're only focusing on Nanoless for now. In this document, we learn three things. We learn that Nanoless was the one that actually willingly canceled Silvervale and Cotton's projects, contrary to what the initial accusation was. We learn that not just they didn't just cancel on them, but even lie to them about why. But a lot of people chalk this up to Red and Nanoless's banter and gossiping, where Red told Nanoless that they didn't like Silvervale, which subconsciously made Nanoless wanna cancel on Silver just to please Red and Cinder. And to a certain extent, I actually agree. I think it's super unprofessional, but I can chalk this up to that. The second one is that we learned that Nano was actually the one that wanted to cancel on other people just so she can start her own streaming career and have a bit more freedom, without any suggestions or prompts from Redacted at all. Nanoless was the one that brought up the idea of canceling Bao, and Red basically just told her to do whatever she thinks needs to be done. Yes, Red did mention to Nanoless sometime before that he has some odd feelings for Bao, but on the topic of canceling on other people's projects, it was not something Redacted initiated or suggested. Nano didn't just want to cancel on Bao, she wanted to cancel on everyone. Again, unprompted, and she came to that decision herself. Lastly, we learned that Nanoless was the one that actually initiated the exclusivity deal, contrary to what Nanoless initially accused Red and Cinder of doing. She walked back on it, but she was the one that started it. In general, even if you can chalk this up to Nanoless being manipulated or stupid for overbooking herself, I think it's undeniable that Nanoless did, in fact, omit information and lie in a few parts of her initial accusation. I think she was the first domino to fall that led to the cancellation of Silver. She's not completely innocent, is all. But recently, I made this summary of what had happened after reading the whole 1000-page Cinder Google Doc. And if you want to go ahead and check it out, just go to my Twitter. I'll link it in the description either. Somebody sent me this. And it's basically Nanoless's response. Hello everyone, I feel like my closest community deserve a bit of information on recent happenings. First of all, I'm sorry for bringing all this mess to the community. Honestly, it's a bit on my hands it's all on my hands for posting it because I felt it was the right thing to do, mostly to show what's happening on the backstages of things. Back then, I really tried to be the people pleaser and didn't know how to say no to a cool project and ended up taking too much I could chew and keep up with Cinder's projects, which I love to work with. I already worked really hard to keep up with Cinder's rhythm, give her priority, and still wanted to work with new people, which as you can see did not work well. I cancelled many commissions, I did use Mio with his consent as an excuse to my clients, and Mio is not my manager since it did not work out and I actually cut from him. I do own management, none of my cancelled commissions were paid up front and communicated months prior to the starting point. The cancelled clients know this, maybe just not Bao. Sorry, I don't remember well, we have the things sorted. I already worked my ass off to please Cinder, and there was a point I thought to myself, why not ask if they want me to be exclusive and they would pay for it since I was almost doing so. I revisited the first Google Doc and sorry I did realize it looks weird, but this was not the whole point, it was the blacklisting. The exclusivity did was paid to me, but since I backed out, my friends told me I was stupid for taking it. It was discounted from a commission payment. The offer was blah 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 blah, that doesn't matter. I also want to apologize to the people who has been mentioned for no reason at all. Okay, so this part doesn't matter. What matters is that basically, Nanoless admits to being a people pleaser and admitted to basically lying, right? She admits that her doc did look weird, but she says that the blacklisting part was the main point. And I think that's stupid. I think blacklisting sucks. I hate it. I've also been blacklisted in many spaces online. I'm also a bit of a people pleaser. My audience knows this, but I often bend to the smallest fucking pressure from my community and people that aren't even part of my community. I am also like this, so to a certain extent I can relate. But in here, if you want to call out somebody and ruin someone's entire career for the sole purpose of blacklisting, I think that's weird, right? maybe you thought it was the right thing to do, mostly to show what's happening on the backstage of things. Tell that to people behind the scenes. Don't cancel somebody. Don't cancel somebody's career for it. Because in your Google Docie, right? In your Google Docie, you have four main points, which are these: exclusivity, the blacklisting of other creators, slandering other creators, and that Red manipulated you into canceling other creators. With Sinder and Red's new document, we learn with receipts that you lied on two of these things, specifically this one and this one. Does that detract from the two things that were true? No, but it does make the initial accusation very weak. Now, it just seems like you ratted somebody out just because you didn't like them and thought that was worth canceling somebody over. Now, the more this unravels, it just seems like this is just more petty indie VTuber high school drama bullshit with everyone just not liking each other rather than something gravely serious or cancel-worthy or actually having a good reason to deplatform them. Now, that being said, I don't think this is not a complete response. She did say it's only a bit of information, so I do expect, or I don't know if I should fully expect a full response anytime soon, but Nanoless, not looking good here, to be honest, right? Like I said, even if you were, quote, being manipulated or you're just stupid for overbooking yourself, the fact that you lied and that you omitted a lot of information in the initial Google Docie, not really good, right? Just like I said, I still think Sinder and Red are pretty fucking oofers. Like, I don't think they're necessarily like bright or good people, but what do you think? Fucking comment down below, I guess. I don't know.